It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Thanksgiving week here at Slumberland at the Lake. It's time for Cup of Coffee number 200. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it. 200th show.
Right here
That's
at
amazing.
Slumberland at the Lake. Thanksgiving, believe it or not, it's here, and that means Black Friday. Everyone loves Black Friday, and that's no different right here at Slumberland at the Lake. Lots of sales going on you're going to want to take advantage of, and an action-packed show number 200 after this from Slumberland at the Lake.
Hey everybody, it's Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. We're right in the middle of our Black Friday extravaganza, which goes on all month long. We've got great sale items with new doorbusters being added every week. You need to come check them out, and then don't forget, we have 0% interest for 36 months, and you can take it up all the way to 60 months on Tempur-Pedic and Stearns & Foster. Come see us at Slumberland Furniture for the big Black Friday extravaganza.
All right, time to get rolling. We're going to jump right into it. Uncle C, Thanksgiving is here, and we got some Thanksgiving history we're going to give you later in the show. But most people for Thanksgiving pretty much think of three things, right? What are those three things?
Turkey, football, and sleeping? I don't know.
Close.
What's the
I was
third
going to
one?
say family, football, and good food,
There
right?
you go,
And
right.
so essentially, big Thanksgiving plans for everybody probably watching, a lot of traveling. So we want to remind you guys, make sure that you drive safe, boat safe. Over the holidays, more people on the roads. And so just want to remind you, as we told you last week, Sunrise Beach, hey, drive sober or get pulled over.
Yeah.
Part of our Drive Safe Boat campaign, Drive Safe Boat Safe campaign with Price and Randall Injury Attorneys. Now, Chris, as we get into local headlines this week on what is show number 200, big news last week was the outlet mall, right?
Yeah.
And we weren't getting a lot of cooperation, or we didn't feel like, well, right as everything was blowing up, essentially, we got news. The outlet mall has sold.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And we can substantiate it.
it's Sky Real Estate, which I'd never heard of before. Sky Real Estate announcing Thursday it has bought the mall. Contract on the mall closed on Thursday, November 21st. And so this is what the Sky Real Estate Group put out. They said, Sky Real Estate is excited to announce acquisition of the outlet mall from a subsidiary of Simon Property. 391,000 square foot shopping center located on 60-acre parcel. It's a huge piece of land over there. Outlet center features key tenants that they mentioned here. They look forward to continuing operations, collaborating with the local community, but they don't tell us what they're going to do. You know, what the development is going to be, which I find interesting. Either they haven't figured it out and thought about what they're going to do yet, or they don't want people to know what they're going to do yet, or something. That's kind of interesting, but it's really exciting that this is done moving forward. And I think the Foster family, who we know and love, are a part of this as well. So that's a good thing. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, and we couldn't last week substantiate anything, and we had gotten sideways a little bit as far as our communication with the city of Osage Beach, which I'll get to here in a minute. But I did talk with Chris Foster on Friday, and he said they were just so happy to get to this point. And it was clear to me as I asked questions in regards to the city that he was like, man, we have just been focusing on the acquisition and making sure that everything was ready. We're excited to be here. And so in the Lake Expo article, it goes on to say that the case against Simon, as far as the lawsuit with those 82 citations, is now resolved and further action is not expected, which was good news, right? And so all of that, there was some questions. We had shed light on those a week ago, and that Thursday, the 21st, that the announcement was made was also Board of Aldermen Day for the city of Osage Beach every other Thursday, right? And I don't know if you got a chance to watch the Board of Aldermen meeting, but we were certainly, or I was certainly, a topic of discussion at that night's meeting.
You sure were, and I did watch that, and I kind of got a good chuckle because you were pretty hard on the city last week here on Cup of Coffee show, and they responded to that, and they mentioned you by name a couple of times, which I thought was kind of funny. But you know what? The thing to remember about that is that we're doing our job. If we are making them be accountable to the people, to the city, which it seems like they are. They're watching us and kind of responding to the questions we're asking. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing for the community. And really, that's why we're here, to try to inform the community of what's going on and hopefully keeping the city and officials, accountable to everything.
Sure. And I mean, the story we did, it was well viewed. There was a lot of local feedback. And so in that Board of Aldermen meeting, Alderman Hoffman, he kind of called me out along with Alderman Richard Ross. And they even went as far as demanding, a public apology to Jamie Rutledge, the new public information officer with the city of Osage Beach. And so at that point in time, I have two choices, right? I can respond from my flesh, because essentially...
An apology for what?
I wasn't exactly sure, but I think Richard Ross, he said that I questioned the diligence and integrity of the leaders of Osage Beach. Okay. And so now I didn't say every one of them. My qualm has basically been with Mayor Michael Harmison for the most part, and that does happen to group everyone there together because he is the leader, right? However, in getting called, and demanding a public apology, I have those two choices, right? I can respond from my flesh, which I want to do, right?
Right.
I absolutely,
fight back and
I absolutely have that in me, that they claim that I'm about clickbait and headlines and trying to improve our ratings. And so if we went that route, I think we would have great success in regards to that. I think we could get a lot of views and could continue to promote division. However, the second choice there is to provoke unity with the city and the community, and I feel that we can still hold the elected officials accountable while promoting unity. And so as I look at rolling into 2025 and who I want to be, I claim to be a Christian, and so how can, as we've gotten to this point, how can our response and my response from this point be Christ-like? And so my spirit man says unity. And so Alderman Hoffman, I have no problems. I've done it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times in my life. I will apologize. I will apologize to Jamie Rutledge that I responded in emotion and that I did not probably use as much diligence and forethought in proceeding with my communication and story. And for that, I will own it. And I will apologize to you, to Jamie Rutledge, to the city of Osage Beach and the Board of Aldermen, and to Richard Ross. And I will say that in taking blame for where I have blame or where I needed to apologize for, how do we move forward? How do we now move forward as a city and as whether we're a local TV station or a little podcast at the couch store, how do we use that platform to be in unity with the city? Because we don't really want locals to not trust the elected officials if there's not reason to not trust them. We don't want the locals to then being like, oh, well, Osage Beach is bad, so the police are bad, and the public works are bad, and everybody that lives in the city is bad, because that is not the case. And so how at this point in time, I'm proposing to the city of Osage Beach, Alderman Hoffman offered an olive branch as far as he would come on our show and talk to us.
Oh, that'd be good.
And so I would extend that in good faith, how we can move forward and see if we can keep communication open, because I have no issue apologizing. I think we should always be apologizing if we're wrong. And if you're not wrong, it means you're not growing, because we're going to continually be wrong. And so, yes, the city of Osage Beach, I apologize, and I congratulate you on the outlet mall, even though they weren't directly involved. I made some speculations that could be, and I'm not sure that's the case. And it may have been unfair of me to make those speculations because it appeared there was a lot going on that we didn't have the insight to.
Yeah, but part of the problem is, and what we were saying is, they're not telling us anything, which they weren't, and maybe that was right, maybe that was wrong, but it wasn't a lie on our part, in any way, shape, or form. But I will say this for the city, they are getting some good things done.
Yep.
Right? Whether we like the way they're doing it or not, whether we like the way things have happened, because there have been some problems along the way. But we've got the Nichols apartments that are just about done. I think some of them are probably going up for rent now. The Oasis theme park has been moving along. They got the condo situation figured out, I think, and that's going to start to be dealt with so they can pick back up and move along. So there has been, and now we've got the mall being sold. So there have been a lot of positive things happening, and that's really, really good. We've been keeping an eye on everything and letting people know what's going on, whether it's been good or bad, or we don't know, but we'll tell people that. So I think it's been a good couple of years for Osage Beach.
Yeah, I have no issue apologizing. It wasn't my first time, and it won't be my last time, but I'm eager to see how we move forward into 2025 and with all the good going on at Osage Beach, even when we don't agree, how we can still communicate openly, and because I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'll leave it at that. And you mentioned the Oasis Amusement Park and with the Lakewood Resort condos. So I talked with Jeff Tegethoff, and I was wanting to get a timeline, right? I want to tell you guys when demolition is set to begin at those Lakewood resorts. I want to tell you when the first coaster is going in.
I
those
kind of
tracks.
expected it to happen already, but it hasn't.
So in speaking with developer Tegethoff, he says, so they're currently finishing up the interior environmental stuff. So like with the HVAC, there's an acclimation process with the Freon. You can't just get rid of that anyway, right? And so they're currently going through some of those environmental processes on the interior. And so he anticipates that should be complete, and we should have a timeline in the near future. He said he's going to send us not only a timeline as far as when they anticipate the demolition starting, but when they anticipate some of those rides going up, because I'm trying to be the first person that rides those rides to make sure they're safe.
You want to be the first one
yes,
on, huh?
like I want to,
Wow.
I don't know about the slingshot, but maybe like the...
We'll get you and Mayor Harmison in the same car together, right?
you
the same
always-
Ferris wheel ride or something. And
I'm open-minded to that. Like,
I won't be surprised if somebody gets thrown out.
in 2025, I'm open-minded to that. Something tells me he'll bring some cheese and crackers, and that'll be a good time. But hey, I'm open-minded to that in 2025. But all that was cool, and so he did also confirm, with the shootout news taking place there, they have ordered all of their docks. They're currently being built, and he said, I guarantee all 200 slips will be ready to go for shootout 2025.
Wow. That was going to be my next question is, how far along are they going to be when shootout 2025 comes along? Are we going to have some rides up? What's that theme park going to look like? Big news is they're going to have the slips ready. That's really good. But I think they'll want to have a lot of other stuff there too, that'll help promote everything. So it's going to be a big year. 2025 is going to be a big year.
Yeah, and I anticipate visually, like we see the walls getting closer, and some of the railings and stuff. But once they start some of these projects, I mean, it's not going to take them long, and it's going to look completely different as you drive by. So look out for that in 2025. All right, so hey, something else that we heard here locally, and I can't substantiate it, but I heard the Lodge of the Four Seasons sold. Like there's new ownership.
Wow, that would be a big deal, right? I mean, that is a huge deal.
Yeah, and so that was the rumor, a couple of different reports we got. And so the first thing I did was I went onto their website and I filled out the inquiry information, and then I also called and got forwarded to the GM, Al Heilich. This was Friday the 22nd, and left a voicemail just, hey, Al, great to meet you, and we've heard that Lodge of Four Seasons has new ownership. Any way we could talk about that, or could you confirm or deny? I didn't hear back from anybody, and so this may or may just be out there, but if anybody knows anything, I'm interested. That is a huge, iconic property down here at Lake of the Ozarks. Been through a lot of different renovations over the years. They've had some iconic events take place there, and
Yeah, there's going to be a real challenge, I think, for some of those older resorts like Margaritaville, Four Seasons and stuff, because they were built back in the 60s and 70s, and a lot of those units and properties still have that old 60s and 70s look to them and feel to them, and you can only renovate those things so much. It'll be interesting moving forward to see what new owners do with these things. Do they tear the old buildings down and rebuild? Can they keep renovating to make things feel new and stuff like that? It'll be interesting to figure that out.
Sure, and that's just one of many big things that is sold or getting started. Like we told you last week, Big Surf sold, right? Wow, Big Surf Water Park. We told you about the new owners, Legacy Family Entertainment. Hey, they're wasting no time. Monday, they had a big event dedicating the park, and then Tuesday, that was the big event, right? You had local dignitaries on hand, Darren Kime, and they got water dumped on their head. But I want you guys just to get a look for yourself as they announce their brand new name at Big Surf Water Park.
At vision is just incredible. So congratulations. You know, when Mr. Bush first called me, he was very excited and, hello, Ike, glad to get to know you, and we're coming into town, and we'd love to have you come be a keynote speaker, and went down the road about what they were going to do, and he started talking about meeting my dad many years ago, and I had to stop him, and I said, well, I appreciate that, but I'm not that Ike still.
I've only known you guys a short time, but I can tell that your all's heart is where my heart was with this place.
Here we go. So there you have it, the brand new name. Of course, we recorded Monday, so we actually don't know the new name yet, but you just got to sell it, and I can tell you, pretty exciting stuff, right?
It really is. Again, more progress, right? I mean, things are getting sold, things are changing hands, and it seems with all of this stuff, there's a promise of renovation, bigger and better, not fading away or deteriorating. And we've seen that down on the Strip too. Some renovation there, some cleanup there. Seems to be very positive, things moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, if we look as a year as a whole, right, in 2024, you look at just the revitalization of the Bagnell Dam Strip, right, with the repavement project, and just how different that looks now when you drive down there, and some of the promises and things teased from Reese Development. I mean, there are so many positive things that are happening here at Lake of the Ozarks, and so we're really excited about that, and as well, something that everyone talks about down here at the lake is still affordable housing, right?
Yep.
And this is not going to solve the issue completely, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Lake Expo published the new income-based apartments are coming to Camdenton with 48 units, and this is pretty cool.
And excavation is already underway for these 48 units. Low-income apartment complex on Rector Street, with concrete now being poured for the office building. And the quote is, the city is very excited for these apartments to go up and be rented. Assistant Camden County Administrator Renee Kingston said they will provide the affordable housing that our area has needed. So Kingston shared the rates for what these units are going to go for, right? So for the one-bedroom units, there's going to be 12 of those, right? And the 12 total one-bedroom, one will rent for just $300 a month. And 9 for $650 a month, and then 2 for $850. So they kind of have different ranges. I'm guessing different amenities in the different apartments.
Or maybe different income qualifications.
Maybe
or
so, yeah.
Scales, right?
Yeah. And then there's, for the 2-bedroom units, there will be 24 of those in total. 3 of those will rent for $359 a month, 17 for $675 a month, and 4 for $925 a month. Those are the 2 bedrooms. And then the 3-bedroom units, there will be 12 of those. 2 will rent for $415 a month, 8 for $750, and 2 for $1,050. So it kind of gives you an idea of the different, but that's very affordable.
Very affordable.
In housing. And that's coming to Camdenton, again, on Rector Street. And closer to the project's completion, the developer is going to announce when the rental applications will begin. So we will let you know when that happens, so people can start applying for that. But that is great news. 48 more units.
Yeah, and I imagine there will be hundreds, potentially thousands of applications, because that is a price point attractive to many people. And let's face it, down here at the lake, when you start looking at like what a 1-bedroom condo or apartment is to rent, that just does not work for a lot of people. So this is really good thing coming to Camden, and pretty excited about that. So we told you a little bit about local stuff, but hey, it's Thanksgiving edition show, right? So I wanted to first tell you guys a little Thanksgiving history. All right, so you ready for this, Chris?
I'm ready for this. I love history.
I know, you're a history buff, baby. All right, so the first Thanksgiving is believed to have taken place in 1621.
1621.
It's been a long time.
That is.
But what we believe Thanksgiving to be, right, is not necessarily the truthful history behind it. So that was when the Wampanoag people and the English Pilgrims shared a harvest feast in what is now Plymouth, Massachusetts. The celebration itself lasted 3 days, and they feasted on deer, corn, shellfish, roasted meat. They played ball games, singing and dancing. This was like a huge celebration, right? And the significance was it marked a successful harvest, right? You're thankful because you were able to have your harvest. As a farmer, nothing's more important, right, than having a successful harvest. Now, the holiday was celebrated by individual colonies and states for over 2 centuries. And then in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed Thanksgiving a national holiday, and it'll be the fourth Thursday of every November, which is what we celebrate now. Now, the holiday's origins are also connected to the Bible, where in the book of Leviticus, God says, "When you have gathered the fruit of the land in the fall, you shall have a great feast to the Lord and be happy for 7 days." Pretty cool.
That is very cool. Those origins coming from the Bible itself. And when President Lincoln proclaimed Thanksgiving a national holiday, that was during the Civil War, which gives you, I mean, there was a lot of death and destruction at the time, and yet the president thought it was important enough to take time to be thankful for what we did have, what they did have.
Sure. I love that. So a few myths. Puritans are often thought of having silver buckles in their shoes, right?
Yeah.
And wearing somber black clothing. Anytime we do the art project with our kids or, in church, Sunday school, but their attire was actually bright and cheerful with no shoe buckles. The Native Americans actually didn't wear woven blankets over their shoulders and large feathered headdresses, even though that most artwork actually portrays just that.
And Hollywood, right?
Correct.
You see the Hollywood movies, they've got the big headdresses and stuff like that, yeah.
And though today we might refer to the Puritans as pilgrims, the Englishmen did not call themselves pilgrims. So pretty cool. And now when we think about Thanksgiving, as we said, food, family, and football, but gratefulness. That's kind of my motto, and hoping Lake TV's motto, like in 2025, is gratefulness. Nothing good in our lives or meaningful or of impact happens just by yourself, right? It takes a lot of people. And one thing that you've modeled for me over the years is you write a lot of handwritten thank you cards. And just living in that spirit of gratefulness is something that I'm really encouraged to challenge myself to do more in 2025. Because, man, we here at Lake TV have a lot to be grateful for.
Oh, boy, don't we ever. So what are like the 3 biggest things you're thankful for this year? If you could just pinpoint 3 of your top bullet points for thankfulness, what would they be?
I'd say my family first and foremost. My girls, and then of course my family around me. I'm incredibly thankful for my health.
We tend to forget that one.
Right, just that we're breathing, that we're here. You see, so many people around us are struggling. Whether it's cancer, whether it's they could be missing a limb, or they may have one of their senses, like that you might be blind, or and we take our health just so for granted.
Yeah.
And at any point in time, that can be taken from us.
Yeah.
Right.
It
And
can.
so every day that we wake up, it's like, man, it's a good day to have a good day because I'm here.
That's right. Yep.
I'm here. But how about for you? What are your top 3 things to be
If I was
thankful
to give my top 3, number 1 would be God. I know I am not worthy of being forgiven, and by the grace of God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I am forgiven. So that's number 1. Otherwise, I would rather not have ever been born.
Sure.
Right. Number 2, my wife, good wife, wonderful wife that puts up with me, right? Same thing with you. You've got
Puts
a
up,
great
right,
wife.
puts up.
I am a saint. That's true. She's a lucky woman. Number 3 would probably be work, although you're right, health really is in there. That's much more important. But, I don't have many abilities and talents. So if it wasn't for being in broadcasting for like 40 some years, I don't know what I would have done with my life, because I can't do anything else. So I'm very thankful for that.
I don't know if that's true, and I think for so many of us, when we do slow down, so much that we have to be thankful for, and we tend to focus on the things we wish we had, or the things in our lives we wish were different, or maybe progressing quicker. But yeah, when you hear that motto is like, you would probably take, if someone offered you $10 million, I'm going to give you $10 million. Would you be okay with that?
It depends on what the catch was,
Sure.
right? Yeah.
So the catch would be that you have 12 hours left.
Ooh, wow, okay.
And so would you take me up on the $10 million to live just 12 more hours, then you're done?
No, probably not.
And that is true for any of us, or for most of us anyway, and kind of goes to show just how invaluable tomorrow is. And we forget that, right? Because without your health, could you work?
You couldn't.
Couldn't
do anything. If you're dead or you're
Sure.
in pain all the time, and there are a lot of people, unfortunately, in that situation that we have to remember to lift up in prayer. But thank goodness we're not dealing with that.
And Thanksgiving, some great football games this year. Gotta love it.
Except for maybe not on Thanksgiving Day because the Cowboys suck and the Lions are great, but they're playing a terrible Chicago team, right? So
we'll see. So hey, as we are enjoying Thanksgiving, maybe you're watching this week's show post-Thanksgiving. There's some really great Christmas events coming up. And of course, you can check all those out at funlake.com/events. Of course, Lake Expo does a great job, but a few in particular. First, my absolute favorite Christmas event of the year. For families, there's nothing better. It's Holiday with the Horses at the Forget Me Not Horse Rescue and Sanctuary. And you have two chances for this. So it's Saturday, December 7th and Sunday, December 15th, both days 11 to 2. Now it's $10 a person. The cool thing is max your family can spend. So if you've got lots of kids, most you can spend is $60, for coming in the door. They've got pony rides, crafts, petting zoo, concessions, Santa with the horses, all kinds of great things going on. And if you haven't seen the Forget Me Not Horse Rescue and Sanctuary, it's unbelievable.
Pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. And if you like horses, that's a pretty cool place to go. I don't like horses, right? Because when I grew up in Wyoming with horses, and we went hunting and they'd buck me off. And so I got bad memories of that. I just stay away from them, right?
Most normal people love horses, and you can get pony rides just for $5 more. We've taken Brindley out there a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's just unbelievable how much there is to do for kiddos. So mark your calendar again. Saturday, December 7th or Sunday, December 15th. There's two chances to do that. And then also, Camdenton Band, we told you about the success they've had this season, right? A couple of cool concerts coming up. Two wonderful nights. Their middle school concert Tuesday, December 17th at the middle school gym starting at 5:45. All are welcome to attend. And then the high school same week, Thursday, December 19th, 7 p.m. at the R.C. Worthen Auditorium. And I can only imagine what they're going to put together. They've got some probably very dramatic, emotional renditions of Christmas music. I mean, I've always wanted to hear the Trans-Siberian Orchestra perform Carol of the Bells.
Yeah.
Like, that's bucket list for me.
I've actually been to one of their concerts.
The Christmas concert?
Yeah, one of their Christmas concerts, which wasn't as good as their album music, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
But I love Christmas music. We're already listening to Christmas music. Are you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Christmas music on already. And then, hey, for those of you with littles, our good friends at Don Chilio's, they have Santa and Mrs. Claus. They have them coming in on the 7th also from 1 to 3 that day. There are activities for the kids, hot chocolate cookies, and of course, the perfect photo op with Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Wow.
And they're encouraging all the little ones to make sure you bring in your wish list Saturday. And I will tell you, Don Chilio is one of the greatest places to eat.
I agree 100%. Man, I could live there and eat that food, man. I'd be even bigger than I am now.
Oh, stop. Hey, stay tuned. Where our New Year's show is going to be coming up where Chris and I are going to unveil the 5 things that we're both willing to give up for the new year, should it be drawn out of the mystery bucket. So you're not going to want to miss that. But hey.
And we have stuck to last year's resolutions, believe it or not.
Against all odds. And that December 31st at midnight into January 1 is coming. And I'm going to be chugging those Ghost energy drinks. But hey, right now, check out our good friend John and Sherry Buchanan on the Lake TV Community Spotlight and Happy Hour with DJ Kyle as part as What's on Tap or What's on Lake TV, brought to you by our buddy with Chris Lightco. Illuminate your lakefront paradise in 2025 with Chris Lightco. We'll tell you more about that. But I wanted to mention before we go this week, because I know everyone's excited about the Thanksgiving, hopefully they're watching some basketball. Mizzou's 5-1 the time of recording, and high school basketball is like almost here on Lake TV.
Yeah, our first game on Lake TV will be Thursday, December 12th, Osage at home to Clinton, and then on Monday, December 16th, Osage Camdenton girls on Lake TV. Tuesday, December 17th, Camdenton boys home to Marshfield. So the basketball season, the high school basketball season here on Lake TV, coming fast. And then we've got the coaches show for you too, that you can see every day starting December 3rd, local coaches talking about their teams.
That's like next week.
Yeah.
Coming like a freight train. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you check out the Black Friday sale and connect with us on social media. We're giving away a $900 couch absolutely free. Happy Thanksgiving, my friends.